Did that work? It should be over to you.
Oh, yeah. So I think it just kept going. I didn't see it at first. I wasn't sure what was going on. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 30 of I'd Rather Be Motivated with artist David Fleming and myself, Scott O Green. And we are, even though we've been through it.
It should be over to you.
Oh, yeah. So I think it just kept going. I didn't see it at first.
You're definitely not muting on your.
Everybody, welcome to episode 30 of I'd Rather Be Motivated.
Are you hearing this?
David Fleming and myself. Yeah, sorry, man.
You forgot to mute.
Yeah, I was just trying to get to it. At first, I was like, geez, David, fix that up. Hey, everybody, sorry about that. It is episode 30 of I'd Rather Be Motivated. As you can see, we've been through a few of these, but still experiencing some of the same stuff we always experience. Start off with a little mic trouble and thought we'd just go ahead and carry that over into the live portion of it. So we'll go ahead and get started here. When you're not here on YouTube, David, where can we find you?
Yeah, if you can look over on Instagram at Art of Mr. Fleming, Facebook at Mr. David Fleming, and the I'd Rather Be Drawing channel. It's pretty much the best places to catch me.
Awesome. For me, when I'm not here on Instagram, it's Mr. Green Draws, mr.greendraws. And even more than that right now, if you follow the hashtags V100s, THEE100S, or the hashtag V100s Anthology, or the hashtag Werewolves and Unicorns. I know, sounds amazing, doesn't it? Then you'll see not only me, but like 30 other artists who are contributing towards an anthology that I'm going to be in. So check that out, and you'll get to see a whole bunch of really cool stuff. So, David, it's been a little while. How you been?
Man, great is the best way to put it, I'd say, for sure. Yeah, man, it's been a good couple weeks of just making and just pushing myself to the edge to get myself back on track with the Kickstarter, the comic, and all that kind of stuff, so everything can go through exactly as promised.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I keep seeing your progress on everything, and it was cool. It was cool being a part of it, but cool seeing all of the other draw this in your style, all the fan art that was done for Apollo for it. Some of those people that contributed were pretty awesome. They definitely set the bar pretty high. So that was cool how you kind of use that to keep everything, keep informing people, keep advertising what you have going on, but it kind of still kept it fresh every day by showing other people's involvement too. So I thought it was awesome and ingenious, dude. So way to go on that.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah. So we're just going to jump right into it. The kind of topic for tonight is stay looking on the bright side. As artists, it's easy sometimes to take those wins away from ourselves or let the times of adversity kind of get to you more than they really should. So we're just really going to kind of do the art check, and because our topic is our project right now, it is what we have going on. We're both kind of in the throes of kind of trying to wrap things up. So it's all kind of wrapped in as one tonight. So with everything, the last time we talked, you were funded on your Kickstarter analog missions in the first 48 hours, but wanting to keep it going. And it's been a week or two, I think, since we've been able to talk. So how's your progress been?
Yeah, everything's been going really awesome. I'm up to 135% funded, which is really cool because, I mean, like after you hit the funding, everything else after that is just kind of that bonus that I can use to print more of the book and get it out to more people afterwards. There's that thing of Kickstarter where a lot of people view it as the actual, like the end of the campaign, or like, you know, if they don't do well in the Kickstarter or even better, then that can be like really like negative and stuff like that. But which I had my moment of that kind of thing because I funded in just like that, but then it's been a very slow trickle after that. And I got myself caught in a couple negative things here and there, but then I realized, like, what am I doing? Like I'm killing it and I'm doing really well. I got a comic. It's gonna be made, and then afterwards, it's a whole nother campaign to get people to buy and realize that this thing exists, kind of thing. So, yeah.
Killer. So for my progress, it's been slow over the past couple of weeks, and part of that has to do with the sort of problems portion of our show. Which problems is usually kind of a big word. They're not usually huge problems. It's just kind of the way we kind of remember to go through our steps and everything. But progress, I've gotten my lettering, like the format for it all is figured out. I'm still putting the story in all of the boxes, kind of fitting the right words into the right areas and everything, because I'm behind on submitting my words, just kind of behind on when I said I wanted to have them to Mike Emeritz, who's the editor of the book. I'm about a week behind for that. It'll probably be just a little bit longer than that. Luckily, everyone's kind of got a lot to do yet on the book, or at least, you know, it's not just me, which I'm happy with.
Is this like their deadline, or is it just like a personal deadline?
Well, we're kind of at the times where it really kind of just needs to be happening all the time that we're getting this to them. But for me, I kind of let them know, like, as a communication thing, hey, expect it by the beginning of the week. And that was like the beginning of last week. But when I had said that, it was the week prior. And like I said, that's kind of in the problems portion or whatnot. But so I'm a little bit behind on that, but not getting too down, because I'm feeling quite a bit better and got some other stuff knocked out that I needed to. So one of the things that just kind of kept getting put on the back burner because of everything was my episode 2 of Drawing Inspiration, which I've been really excited about. And I've had it like edited and in the can, ready to go. But I like to have some of my own sketchbook drawings ready to go with it, because it's kind of the theme of the show. And if it's drawing inspiration is an idea of a way for me to help other people as well as myself fill my creative bank account. So by going out and exploring and traveling around and kind of seeing the world through my point of view, hopefully you could get some ideas for your sketchbook. So I don't want to just like be like an art teacher who like teaches art but doesn't do their own art. Right. So it's like I want to like participate, and I just wasn't finding time to be able to work on those drawings. But over the past 2 days, I got some fun sketchbook stuff done on that I'm excited about. So once again, it came down to getting things wrapped up so we could talk about it today, and not wanting to like post 2 shows on the same day. So for real, for myself, I set a little deadline where I posted a thing saying tomorrow, episode 2 of Drawing Inspiration will be on our channel here. So I'm excited about that.
Way to put out the accountability there so that you knew you had to follow through on it. That's good.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be a busy week again, because that just kind of never goes away. So sometimes you just got to pull the trigger. And then, Of course, my last progress was getting my piece done for you. My fan art of Apollo, which I've been pretty excited to share. So, yeah, that's all my progress. How about problems that you've kind of been running into?
My biggest problem has just been getting, making sure that my life was pretty normal. It's a good way of putting it. I don't know how else to put it, but normal is not the best word. But, you know, I knew when I could get work done on my art. And so my biggest problem has been making sure I still have that time every day, or figuring out where else to put it if I don't have that time, kind of thing, with the addition of a new family member.
Absolutely. I imagine that can put throw another wrench into the works, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah,
in a good way, obviously.
I mean, and I will be, I mean, to be fair, it hasn't been like, it hasn't hit me as hard as I feel like it can or will. So I have been getting good work done, but I think my biggest problem has just been, and like I'm like you are, where if I'm dying and just not feeling good or super tired because of just I could never even think of a reason why I'd be staying up all night the past few nights. You know, it's like I don't want to draw.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I really need to get some more work done. But then I'm just like, it's finally my drawing time, and I'm just like,
Do you find that with those times when you push through that feeling, it goes away or it feels a little bit better?
Oh yeah, I mean, I never eventually get to drawing and then regret it. But it's like, I don't know. Most artists probably have this kind of thing going where like to draw, I gotta put myself in a zone. You know, I got a routine. I gotta sort of get the inspiration, and I'm not like, you know, not the creativity bug or whatever kind of person, but like it's a different place for me to doodle and to do my thing than it is even like to do some lettering on my comic or to do some writing on my comic. Like it's all different brain spaces that I have to put myself into.
Sure.
And I had kind of figured
set yourself up for success.
Right. And I'd kind of already figured those out. And I feel like a big wrench has been thrown in those lately for me to have to be like, okay, like when I write, I need to sit down and do it in like a big sitting, because it's kind of like a weird thing where like, I feel like my brain's in one place one night and my brain's in another place another night. And the style of which I play with the chapter or the arc or the thing that I'm writing will feel different if I'm not doing it all at once. If that makes any sense. Keeping voice consistent, I don't know, because I'm not. It's like we talk about this a lot, that I'm a writer second kind of thing, but it's a completely different
I definitely hear that with the writing stuff. With the like 30 minutes a day thing, that can help a lot. But what I'm finding with some of this writing stuff at the end is I'm really needing to wrap up this comic. I need a few, like 2 to 3, I think, like marathon days with like the half hours mixed in between. But I need to be able to sit down for some hours. Which is not necessarily hours of work, but it can take me hours to do. But just real quick before we keep moving on, I just want to give a shout out to the live chat, which we always appreciate you guys being there. We've got Ace from Comic Den, we've got Red, Ronnie Gunter, how you doing? Nice seeing you guys. We've also got Gamer B in the chat. There was a question that said, are you working on Invincible?
Yes, I am working on Invincible. It's a commission for Comicon.
Heck yeah, awesome. And then Gamer B asked if we both do art professionally. And I'm an aspiring professional, so I'm not a professional yet, but it is something I'm looking forward to. I think David's definitely got quite a bit more work done in the arena of freelance illustration and even things like he's doing here with commissions for art and different stuff like that. So.
Yeah, semi-pro, amateur. I don't know what you'd call that. I mean, technically the definition of being a professional at something is getting paid for it. So, I mean, but like, we're not anything. We're not any person who's made it anywhere with it yet. It's just kind of our passion come to life. So
it's definitely a part of our DNA at this point, I think. No matter what happens going forward, the art's just going to keep getting better. And people will just be silly not to pay us for it. Ha ha ha.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Right. Anyway, so yeah, was that your problems then?
Yeah, that was. I mean, to add to problems, I will even admit to a little bit of a brain fart earlier, and I got on my tangent for my progress and kind of forgot actually what question I was answering, and that's why I kind of was like, and that's it, I think, because I actually kind of forgot what the question you posed to me, and I just had a thought and had to share it. So
do you remember something else?
Well, I'm just gonna adding that to problems that like my tired is hitting me pretty hard, and it's
gotcha.
It's making me a little bit spacey, because I mean I didn't get to actually, I don't think I ever actually said what my progress was on the comic since the last time we talked, did I?
So what has your progress been? Like, where are you at with? Because I know you started your Kickstarter with being like 85% of the way done with the book, and really just using the beginning of the Kickstarter to kind of wrap up the book. So yeah, what'd you get done?
So birth of the child happened 2.5 weeks earlier. That week that it happened, I was going to basically churn out the last few pages of the comic, and I had to flip and kind of do more things that were digital, like design wise and stuff like that. So this was spring break. This is the end of my spring break here. And so I was able to flip. So those 2 weeks were going to be flipped because he was supposed to be born this week, not last week. And so as of right now, every single physical page done, scanned in, ready to go. I just have to do the final sort of formatting and all that kind of stuff to each page. Like I have to make sure that the sizes are right and add a bleed to all of them and do some of that kind of stuff. But that's it. Like I just have to take chapter 2 and 3 now and letter them. I have written all of the dialogue exactly for chapter 2, and I have done an outline for chapter 3. So the next 2 weeks, so there's 15 days left in the Kickstarter. So the next 2 weeks are just me sitting at my computer and digitaling away at it.
Nice, man. Very cool. So for problems I dealt with, finally kind of getting over it at the tail end of this week, but people kind of all over the country at my work, my wife and I, everyone just getting cold flu stuff. And the timing was just especially bad because this last weekend was Emerald City Comicon. And I've had my tickets. I just got 2 days this year, not to spend as much money. And was really kind of planning, okay, I'm going to go down. I'm really going to be kind of nose to the grindstone. I'm not going to just be in awe of everything. I'm not just going to go down to spend money on all kinds of cool stuff. I'm going to go down for research. I'm going to document things. I'm going to study. I'm going to talk to people. And I just, by the time I got down there, I had been kind of sick all week long. And since I had taken off 2 days on the weekend, there was just no possible way to really be taking off any time from work. And we had a lot of stuff to get done before I could really kind of, in good conscience, be out of there. So it was just a week where, like, ideally, I would have just done my like normal working, and then in the evening really kind of been able to plan out what panels I was going to, because those things really kind of finalized in the last week and everything. Really kind of get a strategy together that last week, but it was just kind of survival all week long of just, okay, get meds, try to get some sleep, but I was still pushing forward and like getting my half hour in for 100 Days of Making Comics. That is something where I did engage. We didn't have to, for this, say, okay, I'm going to do 100 Days of Making Comics for it. But I am one of the people that said, yeah, I'm going to do 100 Days of Making Comics, which means put in a half hour of work every single day, no matter what happens. If you're kind of doing like a true blue, like to kind of earn your stripes or whatnot, that is daily posting as well with all that, with making a video every day or a post every day. Sometimes when folks have been through it for a little while, they do just like a once a week post or something like that. And my idea was to just kind of like post frequently, so not feel obligated to post every day. Hopefully a little bit more than once a week, but just kind of see how that goes. And so with everything going on, I apologize. Just 1 second. Let me grab this.
Hey, you're hammering away over there.
Yeah, the beast of 1,000 burdens. Anyway, sorry. So anyway, it was just a lot of stuff to try to get done, and what I kind of cut out to be able to sort of try to survive as far as like just not getting too sick, like making myself like to where I couldn't go at all. I kind of cut out the video things for like the past couple weeks and the updating, which isn't always good, you know, as far as it can really help you, you know, when you do get in a rough headspace, which kind of did accompany everything going on. It can kind of help you out of that and everything, but I just sort of had to pick what I was going to work on and what I wasn't. So it's just still been like pushing forward, doing the half hour each day, but it's just, they weren't good half hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Probably should have just gotten sleep, but I still got some things done. I still, you know, figuring out the tech part of what I'm doing, which, you know, for me never kind of really comes easy. So I was still figuring out those things, but not getting the writing done that I needed, not getting the drawings done that I needed for you and for everything else. So everything just kind of got put on the back burner. And then just got really, really bummed going to, because I was able to go to the convention, but like I said, I had all these lofty goals of talking to people that I look up to and all this. And by the time I got there, I was like, I couldn't really talk. I lost my voice. And I just sounded like a sick person. When I was starting to feel better, and then felt pretty good, you know, by the second day. So got some good stuff in, but it just wasn't quite what I was hoping for. But anyway, so those were kind of the adversities that I had kind of deal with over the past week or two, was just that sickness and how that kind of messes with you, especially when it's in the middle of a big event that you've been looking forward to. But
right.
Yeah. So that was a little frustrating, but part of like what this topic is that we're talking about is staying positive and looking on the bright side. So I was still able to like get some good stuff in. I made a contact that I kind of talked to him last year and was able to talk to him again this year. I say make a contact, that sounds awful, but I just mean like another, you know, lifeboat in the sea of making comics. He was a real cool guy. Actually, I was thinking one day we might it might be good to have him on the show. So I'll talk with you about that a little bit more later. But
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I got a lot of good information. I was still able to kind of go up to some people I looked up to. Didn't have like the long conversations with them because I didn't want to be that guy sounding so sick and didn't want to be weird. But was able to kind of give my Mr. Green's Monster zine. I gave a copy of that to Jake Parker and just told him, hey, thanks for everything. Appreciate what you do. You've been a teacher. This is a homework assignment. Here you go. Just saying thanks, and
yeah.
So I got to chat with a couple people. That was really cool, but that's how I kind of kept it positive and just, you can't really help being sick sometimes. It is what it is. Came home, got feeling better, and just got back on the horse. But so for you, one thing I am kind of interested in with the topic is you kind of mentioned it before just a little bit, is you funded in your first 2 days, and then things they didn't take a dip because you still funded it, kept it up there and everything. But I imagine when that happens, you fund and you're excited because it happens so quick, and then it just kind of nothing happens for a little while. And you talked about how you kind of start to let that get to you at first, but what you kind of do to take care of that, to like push forward and not feel like all of a sudden a victory has kind of gone to like more a defeat side. What do you kind of have planned for the rest of your Kickstarter, and how'd you get yourself out of that mindset?
Well, the main thing that got me into it was just like, I started this with high hopes, obviously, right? But to me, high hopes was just making it. I didn't even imagine making it so quickly. Like I thought I'd be here and be like, come on guys, we're so close, like halfway there, like let's keep going, like we can make this goal. Like I imagined those kind of posts happening. And so when I had the opposite post happening, I was like, whoa, maybe I've got this thing. It's awesome. And like, this is great that I've decided to share this kind of thing. It was like turn into that, but then it was like, I funded and that was it for the first day, for the first 48 hours. And then it was like, basically I got like one a day after that. So that's how it's been growing, is that I've gotten at least 1 to 2 every day since then, which really, I guess, isn't anything not to write home about, right? Like, that's pretty awesome. But you get this feeling in a Kickstarter that you've hit your audience. Like I am outside the realm now of my audience. Like anybody who's been backing in these past couple of days have been completely random, or like someone who I know has probably like come from friend of friend of friend who was like, check this thing out, like that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So I think I hit like a point where I was like negative on myself. That was it. But then I was like, no, like I literally just did my first successful Kickstarter at a goal that was stretching for me. I never thought like I get enough people who follow me to give me that kind of money to be able to make my thing happen, and then like I told you, it's like the Kickstarter is the beginning. So I get all of these. I get these books from doing the Kickstarter, and then that I get to people who didn't buy from the Kickstarter, and I now have the chance to, give to people outside of the Kickstarter. And then all those people who end up getting it from me outside of that will then be on board for round 2 when it's time to do book 2. And it's just like, it just made me think about how we always, as like artists and in our creative endeavors, we always get focused on the negative parts of it and forget how many positive things have come out of what we've done.
Yeah, absolutely. It is easy to rob those victories from ourselves sometimes.
Yeah, and it was like, to not call what I've done here a victory would be definitely robbing myself of like this thing that I've done. And that's like, I realized that I was doing that to myself. And then that's when I was like, okay, I need to take a step back. This is like, I'm being dumb about this. I've done something. This is what I'm looking to do this later. I haven't actually looked at it yet, but I was going to look at my Instagram and find out like what was my first post when I decided to like make this public and stuff, because like, back when we were working at Hobby Lobby together, whenever we were doing those commissions for each other, I did that 6-gun gorilla, and that swamp thing, and I did something else, but we were kind of like just commissioning each other to do things that were like not real commissions, but it was just like, I'm telling you to draw this and I'm telling you to draw this, like that era of our thing was when I first decided like I was going to start taking my drawing more seriously and actually start teaching myself to draw and that kind of stuff. So it was like, when I set out to do that, it was literally to do this. I told myself that one day I'd make a comic and I'd use Kickstarter as the way to fund it. And I would one day other people would do fan art of my character. Like there's all these things that have happened in the past month that I've like checking off the bucket list of being an artist, but somehow I found ways to be negative.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It is a matter of perspective sometimes, or most times I feel like, especially because like when that's happening, I think with most artists, it's never during a conversation with somebody else and throughout the conversation, you're like getting down about it. It's like if you were to say that out loud to yourself or anybody else, you very quickly are like, oh wait, why am I getting down about this? Like it's a success already. Like things are going well. But when you get stuck inside your own head and your perspective starts to skew a little bit, it can really mess with you. And that's why, like, when I was at the convention and I was like just at my wit's end and I was like, I don't even want to be here. What am I doing? I'm wasting my time. What am I even doing with my art? You know, like it really started to twist on me. And I walked past one guy who was a vendor and there was really nobody at his booth. And he didn't mean it like as a smart aleck thing or anything. He was like an older guy. And I said, hey, how's it going? And he goes, oh, pretty good, but I suppose worst day at a con is a better day, is better than your best day at work. And I was like, you know what? Hell yeah. You know, and that kind of helped lighten my step a little bit. But yeah, that change of perspective can be pretty huge sometimes.
That is a pretty good, that's a pretty awesome attitude to have. That's kind of like when that last convention that I was at with Ace, what we were talking about, that was kind of like our feeling. We were like, I mean, even though this is the worst I've ever done at a convention, like I'm here amongst my people, goofing off and having fun. Like, there's nothing really to complain about here for me.
So back to it a little bit, just how we kind of, once you find that silver lining again, what do you do? And like very literally right here, right now, you're in the midst of a project. You realize nothing has gone wrong, but you still want to push. You still want to see what you can do, and you still have time to do that. So what are your kind of real world plans on your next week before we get together again, as far as what you'd like to do with the Kickstarter?
Well, I started reaching out a little bit more. I did that at the beginning. I started doing it again. You know, we talked about that as a strategy to not necessarily spamming people and being real, but like I just kind of took a step back to see like who is in my my audience, or that's the bad word for it, who's in my I have like a word on the tip of my tongue and I can't really say it, but you know, like who's on my side and who can I reach out to as a
who's in the David camp.
Exactly, and be like, hey, could you do this thing? I'm reaching outside of that as well, and I emailed. I kind of tried to find some blogs or people that I like, you know, that might write about comics or about Kickstarters. And I mean, like another one of those things that we talk about, which is like the worst answer when you step out and try to ask someone like that for help is no, or nothing at all. They don't even say no, right? They just ignore me and they don't respond. So sure. I'm trying to just hit up like people and websites and stuff, and you know, sending out my preview to like random people, be like, hey, check this out, like tell me what you think, stuff like, you know, just that kind of thing. I did it a bunch the first couple, like the first week I was all over it, and then this last week I've just kind of been posting and then like not really trying to push it too much further, because at the same time of what I'm saying, which is that like it's not over yet, I'd be completely okay with this being it. I mean, like if it ended tomorrow and I didn't fund it anymore, I'm still good to go. And because I still make the books, I still get the funding, and I still get to push it afterwards. So yeah, I think what I'm doing is I'm not stressing about it anymore. I'm having fun with it instead of turning it into this thing that feels like a job.
That's excellent, man. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, similar to me, I think I don't know, once you kind of reevaluate, and for me, it was a little bit too like just real world, like needing to get rest and needing to get like better and everything. But once I felt like myself again, things started working out a bit better. And but when you're down or you're sick or whatever, it's easy to feel like you're slipping behind and you know, once again, dwell on the negatives. But man, I'm feeling really good now. Today was a great drawing day, and Sundays, you know, we went out and got some time out in the sun. We've got a bite to eat, but still, like, I was able to just really kind of focus on the work today, and it felt great. Still kind of waiting for the levied a break on, I don't know, when I write songs or write stories or anything like that, as far as like the words go, it can take a little bit. Like I know the nuance I'm going for, I know what, it's supposed to be, but as far as really kind of finding that voice, slipping into the shoes of the character. So as you say what you want to say, it sounds like them saying it, not you saying it, and just kind of getting the rhythm of it. Yeah, I've just had a little bit of trouble finding that, but now that like my kind of strategy once I started feeling better is I have like several of these project things going on at once. One was the fan art for you that there was like a real deadline on. There was the drawing inspiration episode 2, which kind of a self-imposed deadline, which I'm late on because I kept putting on the back burner. And then my Fantastic Geographic, my story for the 100s. So I've still kind of done my mandatory half hour for the 100s each day, but even sometimes kind of knowing that like I'm not getting very far because I need to be spending more time, I kind of let that go a little bit, and then just got my mandatory half hour done, and then I went to these other 2 projects and got the one done for you, which I was excited to do, but got that fan art piece done, and then got all these other drawings done, which honestly it felt really good, just like getting back to drawing and inking and making a mess that way too, which I think kind of is helping me push me into kind of the last sprint on my comic Fantastic Geographic, because now it's like, now I feel really good about anything else over the next couple weeks, because it's really like 2.5 weeks to finish everything up, which is totally doable, but you've got to be pushing at it. But now I kind of feel good about going, cool, I've got everything else done for now that I've been wanting to, so I can really just focus everything on this. And once I think I kind of find that rhythm in the words, it's going to go really quickly. And once I'm able to get those approved and get my pages printed off, the washes won't take a real long time, because just kind of the nature of me doing it is a fun, just kind of everything all at once going on. So it's totally doable. But yeah, now that I've readjusted my thought process and feeling better about stuff, and kind of just reevaluated what was most important and when, I feel in a good space to kind of hit the finish line.
That's awesome. That's a great feeling. I've definitely had a similar feeling on that, in just terms of just like life hitting you and then being like, I was so close to my goal, and then I got pushed off. Like, I got to do this.
Yeah, and it was like everything all at once too. Like, spring cleaning, we got like a big start on that one weekend, and then like Sunday night we both just got really sick. So it's like we had projects out and everything. It's just, so it was just like 2 weeks of looking around at all this like half done stuff, and it's like, but we're feeling good now and things are rolling, so it's nice. And just kind of knowing that and having the patience to know that even like when things get a little bit rough for a while because of something like that, just keep plugging away. Don't put it away completely. Still have it out, work on it a little bit, but get the rest you need, get better. Because, then when it comes back around, you are feeling better. It's not something that you haven't touched in 2 weeks. It's something that you're like, okay, now I can really start seeing some change happen, seeing some movement. And just want to say, hey, what's up, Pepper? See you in the chat there. Thanks for joining us. I want to give you a shout out, Pepper DeLuca. I got this rad sketchbook from. If you can see it here, handmade, all kinds of different pages in it, but this is where I've been doing my sketches for drawing inspiration. If you can kind of see any of these, probably not too well with the drawing, but anyway, excited to kind of show those on Instagram and everything for my drawing inspiration episode 2. Plugging that like crazy. So what's up, Pepper? Thanks for the sketchbook. It helps. But yeah, what else you got, man? Plans? I think we've kind of talked about that. We just kind of keep rolling with the projects.
Yeah, plans for me, I want to set a goal, because I am. Let's see, I've got everything scanned in. Okay, a step that I do need to get done to make sure that I am strictly lettering is I've been doing actually a lot of touch-up digitally in order to speed up the progress, which is it's a little unfortunate, but at the same time, it's taught me that like next time around, this actually is going to be a good idea, and I'm going to do this. I was doing the entire first chapter and second almost was completely traditional screen tone, but the screen tones are expensive. They take a literal month to come in from where I have to order them from. So I've been I scanned in the last batch of them that I got and made textures of them basically. and have been doing them digitally, but like still with the exact look and feel of my traditional. And so like I've got a couple of things to do on a few of the last pages of like a digital touch up and stuff with that. And so I want that to be completely done by the next time we talk. So, and I want chapter 2 to be lettered as well. So those are my goals. Letter chapter 2 and make sure those last couple pages get the final touch ups.
Sweet. I love it. So for me, tomorrow you guys are going to see, once again, episode 2 of Drawing Inspiration. I hope you check that out. If you do draw anything from it, tag it, hashtag Drawing Inspiration. But anyway, so that'll be out tomorrow. And then it's just going to be all work on Fantastic Geographic. So my goal by the time we talk next week is that I've already got my words submitted to Mike. And I'm kind of like, I sort of figure out my process as I go sometimes. But I think once I submit the words, I should have it ready to go to where I can go print off my pages that I'm going to be doing the ink washes on. So by next week, my goal is that I'm going to be working on my final pages, which is ink washing and lettering. And for me, lettering is going to be, I'm going to letter it digitally and then print it off to where you can't see the letters, and then print off a second page of the letters and then light box it. So that way it gets a real done by hand. And since these are the kind of the final pages where I'm putting the washes on it, I didn't want to do the light blue thing and then have to go in and try to remove that aspect. Just keep it to where at this point it's just black and white and grayscale. So I'll be lettering it right on the page because I'm really excited to kind of have like a very sort of finished page piece of art done out of this. It'll just be 4 pages long. So I'm really hoping it's 4 pages that when I put them in a folder and I table it at con, man, they'll look good. So that's my plan.
Is that what you did to add the letters to my Apollo piece?
No, I didn't light box it. I just put them in.
Those were just straight on it. I thought that was really cool. There was like a really cool feeling of like it had been lettered, but you could tell it was by hand. I was wondering if you did like a digital thing to it.
So the way that I like kept that, because I like the idea of when you do everything by hand, even like the way that you did everything by hand and you use those screen tones. Well, those are like a machine produced sort of screen tone. Yeah. So it kind of adds a concreteness into all the stylized stuff that you're doing. So anyway, the way I achieved it did it on your thing was I printed off, because I had some circles that I went off of. So I scanned it in after I did the inks, just like I normally would on a comic page, and then printed it off without the blue pencil. But had the letters actually on there, but then I kind of drew the actual bubble on it myself. Yeah. That kind of added the sort of by hand done thing again. So.
Oh, right on.
Well, yeah, man, that was so much fun to do. And like I said, since I've seen that guy with the track jacket on, I've just been thinking about that. And then the hip hop flair that you throw on stuff and the fan art pieces that you've done, it's been in my head for a while. So it was hard not putting a great big gold chain on them. But I had to alter them a little bit, but I thought it was a fun way to do it.
Awesome.
But yeah, man, that's really all I got. And honestly, I'm just kind of excited about, I know we wrapped a little bit early and I kind of talked to David, but I'm excited to kind of get back to it and hit it a little bit more tonight. I don't know how you're feeling, David.
I'm actually feeling incredibly good. I don't know if you noticed this, but like I just penciled that whole thing out in our talk, and I started this thing the minute we started talking. So
I did notice that, and I'm sorry, my animal is just outrageous this evening and annoying me. He's so adorable even when he's being annoying, though. So sorry about that, but he's making so much noise. But I did see that, man. You got some awesome stuff done tonight.
Yeah, I always love when I got that Pikachu that I penciled last time, and I got a couple other ones that I've got to finish up this week. They're just a fun extra little like to do some new pieces before every convention. So that's been another little thing on my plate, which is just an expectation I have on myself. It's not any kind of, I mean, some of these are commissions or whatever, but like, you know, this one is. I was actually excited. I've done commissions for this guy before, and it's like he always gives me good, like he's always like, how about this cool idea? And I'm always like, yes, please. The last thing I did for him was Rorschach from Watchmen, but it was Mickey Mouse.
Nice.
So I always kind of love that stuff.
Oh, it looks like Red, he posted something. He's working on a piece for you, it looks like.
Oh, yeah. I think he'd mentioned he was going to do an Apollo. Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. I'd love to share it whenever you're done with it.
That's cool, man. Well, hey, thanks for chatting with me tonight. It's been good catching up. Excited to see what else you churn out, and excited to see. So is it next weekend that you're going to Planet? Okay.
Friday. Woo-woo.
Awesome. Well, I do hope that next year I'm going to be there with you, and you, Rao, and I, and Ace, we can all kind of dominate a whole alley there.
Yeah, man, it'd be awesome if you got in and was able to get like the same table space, and that like it'd be awesome to take, because the way they've been setting up the past couple of years is they've been doing it in like rows of or sets of 3, and then like space in the middle, sets of 3, space in the middle.
Yeah.
So we would like literally have like an entire half of that would just be like us.
That'd be cool. Definitely, like I'll try to keep an eye out as well, but keep me in the loop as that kind of happens again when they start sending out the info for getting tables and all that. So hopefully we can all get that request in early.
Perfect.
Cool, man. We're wrapping it kind of quick tonight, but we do appreciate you guys being here. Pepper DeLuca, Ronnie Gunter, Ace in the chat, Gamer B. We sure do appreciate you guys join us. So hope you get a chance to get in your sketchbooks and get drawn tonight, because that's what we're going to do, get a little bit more done. But yeah, David, I kind of forgetting the sign-off stuff. So one more time, where would you like to direct people's attention as we exit the show tonight?
I was debating whether or not I should jump in, because it is always you who wins it. But I was like, I feel like we're in circles here. But
I know I was like, I'm trying to end this, but I can't remember how we usually do it. Oh yeah, so go ahead. Where can we go for you?
Yeah, Art of Mr. Fleming on Instagram. That's Art of Fleming 1M. Mr. David Fleming on Facebook, and the channel. Check out a couple of things I've tried to get started in the past that I do plan to return to on the channel: the live ink and the tips and the time lapse, which is just the teacher and me kind of coming out and kind of giving tips about drawing and how to get through stuff, kind of like we do here, but more on like a quicker, snappy, short scale. The live ink episodes are usually about 30 minutes, and the time lapse ones are like literally like a 2-minute tip. I've only done a couple of those, but do plan to get back to that once I'm not literally just bleeding this comic.
Heck yeah, which brings us also to search Analog Missions on Kickstarter, of course.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot to. The main reason for my life right now.
Yeah, if you search any of those, just Analog Missions Kickstarter,
right.
But you can find that through his Instagram. So
link below as well.
I got you, buddy. Yeah, for me, I want you to go find Analog Missions and contribute to that Kickstarter. It's I'd Rather Be Drawing's first Kickstarter, so very proud and happy for David there. But if in the meantime you want to check out something I'm doing right here on this YouTube channel, tomorrow you'll get to see my travel art show episode 2 of Drawing Inspiration. And then if you find inspiration from that and do a sketch or a drawing or a character design or write a little piece of short fiction on something that you've seen, hashtag it Drawing Inspiration and let me know. And I'll start being able to create a spot on the next shows where I feature different folks and their art. So pretty excited about that. But other than that, love you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Pieces. Reese's.